Hello and welcome to the Awaken Feminine podcast. I'm your host, Kaki Lee, a mindset coach and healer who's on a mission to share the love and wisdom of inspiring women from around the world who have gone through adversity and turned their pain into purpose. Today, I'm excited to share the love and wisdom of Joanna Heyse, who is a certified integrative nutrition health coach, registered naturopathic therapist, and the founder of Regenerative Living. She's joining me all the way from Ottawa in Canada. Welcome, Joanna.
Thanks, Kaki. Thanks for having me. I don't know why I chose such a difficult name for my business.
No, it's just me. Before we jumped on, I was like trying to say it as well, but yeah, I just get tongue tied.
Oh, don't worry. It's actually everyone. Make no mistake, even myself sometimes.
It's a beautiful business name, but I just have a tongue tie issue with it. So, Joanna, thank you so much for joining me on my podcast. Before we dive into your journey, I'd really like to know, what is your definition of an awakened feminine or an awakened woman?
Oh, well, that's a very good question. You know what? I think for me, it would definitely be a woman who's independent, very grounded woman, who's not afraid to take up challenges and get out of her comfort zone, and who will go beyond labels and embrace her purpose. And I think also perhaps I would even go as far as say someone who's on a journey to change the world.
Yeah, I love that. Such a beautiful definition. Thank you so much for that. So, Joe, I'm going to call you Joe from now on because that's what I usually call you.
Yeah.
So, really want to start, with your journey. So, I know you're a health coach and you specialize in digestive health issues. So, can you share with us what journey you went on that led you down to specialize in this area?
Yeah, of course. So I was actually for a long time a humanitarian worker. So I was working across Africa, the Middle East, Asia in war zones. And I did that for more than a decade, really working hard. I had this naive thought that I was going to save the world, I really wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But I did it at the expense of my health, because I was giving it all. And it was, I have to say, unfortunately, little rewards, because it's hard to really make a change in those situations. And I was giving so much of myself that, my health started, being challenged, and I started having a lot of gut issues. And at the time, I couldn't really understand, I thought, yeah, I just, perhaps it's what I'm eating, right? So, because that's always what you think when you have issues.
Yeah.
Gut issues. And I tried to change my diet so many times. I did my best, because I was living abroad, and I wasn't accessing the same foods that I am now. But I could just never find a cure, if I can say. And I was diagnosed with IBS-C, which is the IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, but with the constipation part. So it was very painful. I had debilitating pain. I had, brain fog, memory loss, spasming, cramping. Sometimes I had the impression I was stabbed in my stomach.
Wow.
And I would be so bloated, as if I was pregnant. And yeah, I just suffered like that for so many years. When I finally decided to make a change and do something about it, I realized, okay, it's not just about diet. There must be something else. Probably the stress I'm experiencing at work and this lifestyle is just not for me. And it took me a while. It took me a long time, but eventually, unfortunately, a burnout got me to make the decision. But 2 years ago, I had a massive burnout, leading me to actually leave my job and change career.
Yeah.
And that's when I just started, uh, finding interest in the gut, like researching about it, also looking at eco-friendly lifestyle and how food is grown, what's in our soil, what's in our environment. And, all of that step by step just led me to realize, yes, but, I need to help people like me. And I need to help them get better, like I actually got better, finally.
Yeah.
And that's how I got here.
Yeah. So was there like I know because you went on your journey, that's why you're so passionate about helping people with the same issues. So was there a particular catalyst that really made you decide, or aha moment, or spiritual awakening, whatever you like to call it, where you went, this is what I'm meant to do. I'm here to help people with this. I'm going to be a coach. What was, what was that like to actually go, oh, that's what I'm going to do now?
Yeah, I think it's a very good question. I think that aha moment was on a walk with my husband back in Belgium, where I'm originally from. Uh, I had been studying a lot about agriculture, sustainable agriculture, had taken up some courses. And I thought to myself, I love that field of work and permaculture design, all of that, but do I see myself as a farmer? And I thought, not really. Although I'd love to do something about it, but do I see myself do that full time? Not really. And as I was walking in the woods, I thought, yes, but I always loved so much helping people. I made a career out of it,
Yeah.
like humanitarian assistance. It's all about helping people. But how can I help differently? And how can I also help, in a way that I can do something for this planet. I can do something for these people. And, we call it environmental, I can't remember the name now, but it's really a intersectional environmentalism. I'm sorry, I was looking for it, where you care about the humans and you care about the planets. And all of that kind of led me to, on this walk, to say to my husband, but do you think I would be a good health coach? And then he looked at me and was like, oh my gosh, why did we not think of this before?
Yeah.
And I think that was that moment where I thought, but it would combine everything I like. I could help people get better. I could touch upon something that's really important to me, health, health of people and health of nature.
Yeah.
And then that's when it all started. And that's when I just looked for a school and I went all in.
Yeah, I love that. I just really love that. Sometimes when we just go, oh, why didn't I think of that sooner?
Yeah, it's very interesting because I also afterwards I asked some of my friends and I said, well, guys, what do you think? I mean, this is what I'm doing now. And do you think I'm going in the right direction? And they were all like, but Joanna, I don't know why we didn't think of telling you before. You've always helped us with our health and how to eat well.
Yeah.
Why did you not think of this before?
Yeah, it's funny how sometimes you just it doesn't quite click until something happens. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the most random moments, like walking my dogs in the woods. I mean,
Yeah. But out in nature, right? So you're just soaking up all the natural
absolutely.
goodness and all the juicy, creative, ideas are coming through. So that's awesome. So,
Absolutely.
so Joe, I'd like to really go a bit deeper with you. I know you said you, had a burnout a couple of years ago. I don't know if that's, something that led to a big breakthrough for you, but was there a particular experience you've been through that you found the most challenging and led to your biggest breakthrough?
Yeah, I think that you got the point right there. It's at burnout, definitely, because I think that's, I think mentally for years I was realizing something was wrong and I had to make a change. But that breakthrough was my body telling me, well, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. You have to stop.
Yeah.
And it was actually a really bad burnout also. The doctor told me I would not recover without heavy medication, that I had like burns, something in my brain.
Yeah.
So it really shocked me. And I thought, oh my gosh, you know what? I've been off track for too long.
Yeah.
It's time that I make a change.
So can you unpack that a little? It's like what did the burnout look like? Like what were you feeling? What were you experiencing? Just so that people that might not necessarily know that they're going down that path of burnout have an idea of what it feels or looks like.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a very weird condition, you know, like I'm one of those people. I didn't believe in burnout. And you know what? It's crazy because in my line of work at the time, it was not authorized in a way, because, you know, you're helping such poor people, you know, who are trying to survive and don't even have enough to eat or even live. You know, you don't have the right to be sick, right? You have to fight for them. And, you know, and so you have to give it all and continue. So I had no idea what it was really all about. I heard a lot of people had it. But for me, it was very insidious, because I started I couldn't sleep anymore. I would wake up exhausted. That's how it really started. And then slowly, you know, I started being very emotional, feeling really down, feeling sad, not controlling my emotions very well anymore, crying a lot, feeling exhausted, unable to focus, and then eventually just breaking down completely at work, or not being able to handle meetings anymore, not being able to hold myself together. And I remember at the time I just thought, you know, maybe I just need a bit of a holiday. And my doctor said, just take a break, you know, a few weeks, and we'll take it from there. And I was so, you know, into, I have to go back to work. At the time, I was working on the Ebola crisis in Congo, in DRC.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so I was the head of the task force for the humanitarian response. And I thought, I have to take a short break. That's okay, but I have to get back, because then my colleagues need me. I have to work on this crisis. This is very important. And I had also a colleague who had died in Central African Republic. I was also on that crisis. And I thought to myself, I have to do this. So I went on a short holiday, and I tried to sleep as much as I could. I kind of coached myself through it. You know, I did everything in the book, you know, to get better from a burnout. I researched it. And then I went back to work 6 weeks later, thinking, you know, it's okay. Totally fine. I can do this.
Yeah.
And on the second day, I completely collapsed. And I think that was the hardest moment, is to realize that actually I couldn't do it. And so that's when I actually went to see my doctor again, and he ran some tests on me, and that was the conclusion. You know, I was too far, and I needed to rest. And it took me a while, because, you know, for your body to rest after so many years of chronic stress.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Kaki, it took me 2 years.
Yeah.
It took me a year to feel better.
Yeah.
But then it took me another year to really like be back on track and be myself again.
Yeah.
An enhanced version, even, I would say, because, you know, now I'm on a healthier path, one that's closer to my purpose.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because I know that there's so many people, not just women, like men as well, where we just we've just been conditioned to push, and not listen to our bodies. It's like, you know, you have to be at that 1,000 miles per hour to keep up with everything and everyone. And so we don't take that time to really sit there and listen to our body, you know, feel our emotions and all those things. So for you to share that story, and just so people know what it's like, and also to really just take that time so that you don't burn out, because if you burn out, you're no good. You said you took you 2 years to really get back on track. So if you can avoid it, that's probably better than experiencing
Absolutely.
and then having to get yourself better. So yeah, wow. I'm so glad. I mean, everything happens for a reason. So I'm glad that
Yes,
you that you got out on the other side
absolutely.
and you're here helping people and doing your amazing work. So, Joe, what were the tools or teachers that were really helpful in your recovery and your healing process?
So I think the tools that were really the best for me, well, self-care was a major element. It wasn't something I was doing before, and or at least not consistently. So self-care was really a big thing. Just taking the time for myself, doing things that I love, rediscovering my creativity, kind of discovering myself a bit, like going deep and doing things that brought me joy. I had dreamt of having a dog for years, and that's actually the first thing that I did, was to get a dog.
Yeah.
And that really, helped me so much get better. I think also gratefulness was really something huge, because especially when you're in a burnout, like you have such low energy. You've got this memory loss, brain fog. You feel like you can't focus on anything. So every morning, just being able to list a few things I was grateful for, despite my suffering, if I could say, like,
Yeah.
because it's kind of a depressed mode in some ways too. So you feel very down, and you feel very guilty for being in that state. So it was just like, okay, no, but I'm grateful. I have, when I had my dog, I had my dog, I have my husband, I have my family.
Yeah.
I have a roof over my head. I'm still healthy in some ways. Like I don't have cancer, right? Like
Yeah.
I can recover. I've got the opportunities to get better. I've
Yeah.
got this time that I can take for myself. Because I always remembered also my dad had a burnout, but my dad was self-employed, so he could actually not take a break.
Yeah.
And I was employed, so that gave me that opportunity to actually stop working. I was covered, and I was very grateful for that too. I did those gratefulness exercises, and that really helped me through.
Yeah.
And of course, love, Kaki, love being surrounded by your loved ones.
Yeah.
I would, enjoy my parents in and out, after all these years abroad.
Yeah.
I just spend every day with them, just sharing love, receiving love. And yeah, all of that was really key to my recovery.
Yeah. So beautiful. And self-love is just such an important thing. That was, a big
Yeah.
part of my journey. And I just love that, having love, because that's such a high vibrational energy, was a big part of your healing process, and the gratitude, which is so important. I think a lot of times when we are down in the dumps, as people put it, we forget to be grateful for all the things that we actually have in our lives. So it's beautiful that you took that time to just write out, you're not feeling great, but these are all the things that are great in my life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's really key. It's a small thing. It's a small habit, a very simple one to have, but it's very powerful.
Definitely. So, Joe, I want to ask you, what do you believe is the greatest lesson you've learned in your life so far?
I think the greatest lesson for me was that I could not save anyone, anybody,
Yeah.
because it was always a big thing for me. Going working with the Red Cross, I thought, okay, let's go save the world. And even in my coaching, sometimes I have to pace myself, because I have this strong desire to save everyone and save the planet at the same time. And I take so much on my shoulder then. But I think that where that's where I feel more grounded, where I realize I cannot save anybody. I cannot save nothing, but I can try to, I can just be there. I can just accompany someone on their journey. I can just be by their side. And the same for the planet, I can do my best every day to respect it, to nurture nature, and to show my love to it. That's how I try to not go beyond what I can really do. But but yeah, because this savior attitude can be very counterproductive, and you cannot save anybody. You can only do your best, and that's already saving in some ways.
Yeah, such a beautiful lesson. And I think a lot of coaches have the same issue, if you can put it, where they just want to save people. They just want to help people, and they just want to love on people, so that you see someone and you're like, I can help you, I can save you. But until that person wants to be saved or wants to be helped, you really can't do anything, right? And learning that's just so powerful to be able to, like in your coaching now, to go, all right, let's step back so that I'm not coddling them, right? As well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we all have to take our responsibilities, right? And that's the beauty of it also. That's where we learn, that's where we grow. And that's something I never saw before. I would think, okay, I need to save that person. But, I learned it in the humanitarian field also. I would actually, when you give the spoon to someone, you actually not helping them. You have to give them the tools to help themselves, to save themselves. But you can't save them by just giving something and then trying to, feed. It doesn't work like that. And I saw it the hard way. I learned it the hard way. But it is so true. You can only but be a guide.
Yeah.
And give the tools.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. A beautiful lesson. So, Jo, I love reading. I'm not sure. Well, I'm pretty sure you also love reading. But is there a particular book that really made a big impact on your life?
Yeah. No, there is. There's a few. I love reading books, and I've always been quite fascinated by literature, but classic literature.
Yeah.
And that really always kind of fueled my imagination, let's say. But one book that really changed a lot of things for me at the time when I read it, and it's I think more than 15 years ago, it's The Alchemist from Paul Coelho.
Yeah.
And, that idea, of following your own personal legend, and which is basically, finding your own purpose. And once you find your purpose, things just flow. I just find it so powerful at the time, and it really inspired me so much, because perhaps one thing I can share, it's very, very personal, but I think it will give you a better picture. I was raised in a cult. It's quite interesting, but I had a very interesting childhood. I don't blame my family at all. I'm really past all of that. It's history for me now. But at the time when I read the book, I had just left that thing. I managed to kind of escape it.
Yeah.
And then, it was the first time that, I was reading something that was pushing my critical mind, like finding your own thing. Not, it's not like a brainwash where you have to be in a certain way to, to please a god, which in my case was what it was. And that book just opened a whole world of possibilities for me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, but I actually, I don't have to do it the way I was taught. I can actually find my own way. And that was liberating.
Yeah.
So that book is like, oof, love it.
I've got goosebumps when you said that, how And I can imagine like going from being in a very, I guess, I don't even know what the word is, but being told how you should think and how you should be, right, if you're in a cult, to reading this book
Yeah.
and just going, whew, that moment would have been so powerful. I can just, see or imagine that power that you just,
Yeah.
had. And I love that book as well, The Alchemist, because a lot of self-help books, they're written in very, I guess, more textbookish kind of way, but The Alchemist is like a
Yes.
story and it's just very beautiful. So when you read the story, you also learn the lessons and it's really beautifully written. So I do love that book as well.
Yeah, I love it. I'm that type of girl who would almost believe there are fairies in the woods.
Yeah,
It's a bit silly, but that's how I feel about the world that surrounds us. That there's something great in the energy. So the Alchemist really gave me also that part that dreamy part. Like where you feel like you're reading a fairy tale.
yeah,
Even it's not really a fairy tale, but you're really reading a legend, and
yeah,
at the same time you're growing, which
yeah,
is beautiful.
yeah. And Joe, I believe in fairies, so it's all good.
Okay, oof. Because I thought, oh my gosh, am I going to say that? Because I mean, this is a bit.
I believe in fairies. Yeah. I tell my daughter I have a parking fairy because I have this thing where I can find parking spots. Like, even if the car park's full, I'll get a spot really quickly. So I tell my daughter I've got a parking fairy, and she's like, "No, you don't, mummy. I can't see her." So, all good.
Oh yeah, no, that's a very good one. Those fairies are nice.
Yeah, those fairies are very good. So, Joe, if you could travel back in time and go back to a younger version of yourself, what advice would you give yourself?
uh, don't be afraid to be yourself. Yeah, just find your path and embrace who you are. Don't try to be what they expect of you to be.
Yeah.
Because so often, I mean, of course, with my history, it's with the cult, it was one thing, but beyond that, even I think for all of us at the end of the day, we live in a society where image is so important. And at school I wasn't a popular girl at all, of course, on top of being a bit weird. Like, so I think I would have liked to be told that it's okay to be different. It's okay to have your own path, no matter what it is. Just be yourself and feel
Yeah.
grounded and connected. I would definitely tell myself that.
Yeah. Oh, that's just so beautiful. Just such beautiful advice. And it's so important for everyone to hear that, to just really
Yeah,
embrace and be okay to be yourself and not try to be someone that you're not. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to conform. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So, Joe, there's a lot of people this year that's going through change and a lot of people pivoting that and doing different things or awakening as well. So, what advice or recommendation would you give to people that, have this limiting belief or have this fear of, taking that step to change their life for the better?
I would ask them, what are they afraid of? You know, what are you afraid of? And what is fear? Fear is only blocking us to be our true selves. So I would really focus on what's that fear that they have to actually take that step. Is it, what others will think? Is it that they think they're not, good enough, or that they don't, I don't know, deserve it, or they don't have the self-confidence to do it? Whatever fear it is, that they should definitely overcome it. I myself made a transition at a very difficult time. I made that transition, leaving a very good job, a stable job, to start my own thing. in a world that was already changing. It was just a couple of months before COVID hit. And it was also a time where, my husband's career was insecure and we were close to immigrating. So we were like, a lot of changes were coming up. And making that big change was very scary, and that was like leaving that last thing that was secure, that was like safe. But, going beyond your fears is so liberating. It really is. And that's where true growth and beautiful things happen. That's when they happen, really. That's when you can just let go and not let fear create your life, not let it take over, but rather just take it as a sign that it's time to get out of your comfort zone, and that, whatever happens, there's something beautiful on the other side.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful advice. And yeah, the comfort zone is where, what is my friend said, comfort zone is where dreams go to die. So really, stepping out of that comfort zone to get that transformation and really come out on the other side and being in a better place than where you were before. So beautiful advice. Thank you. So Jo, let's take a bit of a turn. I am all about self-love because as I mentioned before, that was, one of the biggest parts of my journey. So as an awakened women, awakened feminine yourself, what are your top 3 activities that you love to do to ensure you give yourself the self-love that you deserve?
Okay, well, the first thing is definitely a walk in the nature with my dogs. Yeah. That's my top one. It fills me with joy. It recharges me. I do it every single day. And just to see my dogs play brings me joy and happiness, laughter.
Yeah.
And be connected to nature and be surrounded by trees just give me energy and make me feel like there's something bigger than myself, that I'm part of something bigger than myself.
Yeah.
That's definitely the first thing. The second thing, I actually love go to the spa.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't say like specifically, bubble baths and stuff like that, but more like, having a nice facial from time to time, just go to the hairdresser also. That I really enjoy that, just taking that, a couple of hours for myself to just, make me feel more feminine, especially in those times during COVID when you're home all the time and dressed.
I'm just in my pajamas all day, doesn't matter.
Yes. I'm not gonna get up, you can't see my sweatpants. But just that, like kind of reconnecting to my feminine side by taking care of myself, my skin, and feeling beautiful, just feeling like, and feeling beautiful for myself, for my husband, and keeping it sparkly.
Yeah.
So that's definitely my second thing. And the other thing is, it's actually self-care for me goes along with connecting to my deep nature. I'm an extrovert. I really am. And talking to people and sharing love and being, sharing stories and chatting and laughing, that's really something that recharges me like big time.
Yeah.
Big time. So calling a friend, that would be my third self-care thing. Just call a friend or call my mom or, call someone in my family, chit chat, just have a laugh about something, even sometimes gossip about something, as long as it's not too negative, like just feel that connection and share that love. Just for me, it really, I'm to that point where I can be like a bit blue, like when it's rainy outside and I feel a bit blue. If I call someone I love and have a chat for even 15 minutes, it switches my mood instantly.
Yeah.
instantly.
Yeah, I love that. Because I'm an extrovert as well. And so when I talk to people, it really energizes me. So doing my podcast, when I'm speaking to all these beautiful women like yourself, I just get off and I'm just like buzzing afterwards. So it's, yeah, connection
Yeah,
is just so important and so beautiful. I love that. Oh,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Joe, I really love you to share what is, what is setting your soul on fire right now.
What is setting myself on fire right now? That's a very good question. I think it is definitely at the moment when I can connect with my clients and I see their haha moments. That really is like it. It brings me so much energy,
Yeah.
and it gives me so much motivation to go beyond myself to get other people get those haha moments, and see them start changing their lives.
Yeah.
That really, yeah, that really is powerful for me right now.
Beautiful. So, Joe, I've just loved our conversation today, and I love your accent. I can listen to you talk all day, like seriously.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
So, Joe, thank you so much for sharing your love and wisdom with us today. So, if people want to find out more about you and how they can work with you, where should they go?
So there's different ways. They can either go on my website, www.regenerative-living.com, or I have a Facebook group where I share a lot of advice actually already about gut health in general, which is called the Gut Health Workshop. And I also have a business page on Facebook called Regenerative Living, where I share quite a bit too. So that's where I can be found.
Awesome. I'll have all your details and any recommended resources in the show notes so people can reach out to you. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Kaki. It was so nice to talk to you.
Yes,
You really gave
same.
me a lot of energy.
Yay. Likewise. And until next time, I love you. I believe in you, and you are worth taking that first step to the life of your dreams.